Welcome to Economic Vitality Unplugged, the podcast where we take a deep dive into people, policies, and projects shaping the future of Tallahassee-Leon County's economy. I am Keith Bowers, the Director of the Office of Economic Vitality, and I'm excited to bring you an engaging conversation with leaders and change makers driving economic growth and opportunity in our region. Today, we're talking about a powerful initiative that's making waves in our community. We are here with Katrina Tuggerson. Just to give you a little background, the program is all about equipping cities with the tools and strategies they need to foster financial empowerment, entrepreneurship, and inclusive economic growth. Katrina is here today, and she's going to be talking to us about the program. For those of you who may not know Katrina Tuggerson, Katrina has been a leading voice in advocating for minority and women-owned businesses and ensuring that all entrepreneurs have a seat at the table in our region's economic landscape. We'll be discussing how the CityStart program is shaping financial empowerment efforts here in Tallahassee and Leon County, and what it means for local businesses and entrepreneurs, and how collaboration between public and private sectors can drive lasting change. Let's dive in. As I mentioned today, joining us is Katrina Tuggerson, who is the president of the Capital City Chamber of Commerce. So, Katrina, do you mind just giving the audience a little background on yourself and your role? Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Keith, for your efforts and what the Office of Economic Vitality is doing, and to continue our conversations in the community. With you being a partner and a shoulder of the Chamber, we've been able to set up this ecosystem. As we continue to do what we do in the community and be voices in the community, we noticed that it was a gap, and this was one of the gaps that was. And it's always when you go in with small businesses and listening to the need of in any community, they always talk about the gap of their financials, whether it's at home or whether it's in their businesses or even starting a business from a need. And so as a chamber, we thought it would be very resourceful to be one of those solutions in addition to what you do at your office.
So this is Financial Empowerment and Blueprint. How did it come together?
Oh, wow. I think everybody pivoted, and I know for a fact, pivoted after COVID, and how to do our processes better, how to better serve our community. We even came together as stakeholders to say, what do we need to be doing? And Capital City Chamber came out with some different ideas and what needed to be done and fill different gaps. So we always talked about which the county itself, Leon County government, put out a pamphlet on the lowest zip code in the state of Florida, which is 32304. So in addition, our solution with the financial empowerment booklet that Leon County government has put out now is one of the solutions that will come up under that 32304 segment. Like, you can have all these community meetings and you can just meet, everybody's saying the same thing. But what Capital City Chamber did, we walked into the room to say, okay, how can we bring a solution, just a bite at a piece of the apple and just start working? And that's one of the things that we've done. So we were able as a board and a team to go out and secure funding and start fishing for with Cities of Financial Empowerment Initiative and Bloomberg Foundations and what that looked like. But when we got to the table, they say, well, you can apply as a chamber. And you, from working side to side with me, Keith, you know, I asked them, why? My first thing was like, you telling me I can't apply? And that puts me on 10. That means I'm going to go 100% in. And I'm calming that down. When you
Don't calm it down.
Yeah. And you know what? I take the same drive as the small businesses that we serve. When you tell them they can't do something, they just go 100% in. So you got to have that as leadership as well. So anyway, what happened was the Cities of Financial Empowerment, which I love their structure and what they've done with the different communities that they serve in. They only want to work with city and county entities so that it can have weight to what they're doing. But the unique thing about Tallahassee, when we went to the meetings, we got the grant, got accepted. When we went to the meetings in New York, we were sitting there, we were all happy. It was one city representative, myself, and a county representative. We're sitting there all happy. And what they were telling us is something that our community has already done. We have such a good structure here in Tallahassee that we had already set a lot of the structure up, but we needed their weight in what the Cities of Financial Empowerment bought. We needed some more tweaking. They brought that, they gave us the guide in order to go with this blueprint that we have now putting out. The press release went out on March the 4th, and we're looking forward to giving the public more information on what that looks like.
Oh, that is amazing, and congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
That is some feat, and for you to be able to take the lead on this and bring these tools and resources back to our communities, I just think that that's this wonderful initiative that's been undertaken by the chamber. And again, thank you.
Thank you.
So I know a big part of developing the financial empowerment blueprint is engaging with community members and local stakeholders. Can you share some insights on what the community identified as key financial barriers?
The communication is always huge. And then we're talking about a SETI population, which is the social economic distress individuals. They serve from a more of a need. So the county has two different pockets of people. You have those SEDI, that population of people, and then you have the ones that have worked hard and at a point where they need to pivot to buying that, securing that new home within our community, securing dollars to invest in their business. With the stakeholders that we bought, Tallahassee Lenders Consortium, the financial institutions, we were able to meet with all of the bank presidents in Tallahassee and have conversations on what their financial institutions are looking for, even incorporating their CRAs, what that looks like, what does that really, really mean, and how has the impact hit our community. So we were able to pull a couple of reports from that, and just to see what I asked for reports from. And we just did another inquiry like a couple of weeks ago. Can you please advise me what your CRA dollars is doing in our community? I think that's what we should be looking at and showing as well, looking at the dollars that are already in our communities that can be unified together to help the small businesses and to help secure security for our citizens.
Great. And for our listeners and those of you who are participating in this podcast, CRA means Community Reinvestment Act, which is a federal regulation that all regulated financial institutions have to adhere to ensure that they are providing services and products that are geared towards low income and minority communities. So just for clarity on that, but that is spot on. And I love the fact that you have reached out to the financial institutions because they have to play a pivotal role in this initiative if it's to be successful. So it sounds like this effort is really all about financial stability from the ground up. So let's talk about some of the specific focus areas outlined in the blueprint. The first is housing and residential security solutions. So one of the blueprint's priorities is housing and residential security. We know homeownership plays a huge role in wealth accumulation. What are some of the ways the Chamber is supporting affordable homeownership?
Oh, wow. So the affordable home ownership, we noticed that we have to stay within our stride. We're just supposed to focus on small business. But as a minority chamber, of course, we have to pivot into different areas that affect the minority small business. For us women, women are the leading small business of the world, the state. I mean, we just lead. We lead strong. But nevertheless, I understand that as a small business, all of that affects. So good home, food, security, having finances, making sure your kids have what is met is important to making a healthy employee, a healthy business. And so we saw all of that. The reason why we take the lead on it, but take the lead on it with our partners where we don't try to do everything, but as we pull our stakeholders together, maybe we can strengthen what they're doing, and maybe we can highlight what they're doing so we can bring it all together and say, we're in this all together, but how do we make it work?
That's a very good point. And one of the blueprint's priorities, since it is housing, the county has programs like the down payment assistance program, as well as the city and the community land trust. How do these programs help address historical barriers to homeownership?
Well, just a couple of weeks ago, the county itself did a ribbon cutting for a 21-year-old. It didn't make sense for Capital City Chamber to not partner with the government and the county. If they already have these programs in place, we don't have the structure or the funds to put that into housing. So why would I not partner with my commission or with the county administrator to make this happen more efficiently? We put financial empowerment into all of the libraries in the county. One of the initiatives that we started up under this, which we started prior to CityStart, was Bank on Tallahassee. So if you go to Bank on Tallahassee, it has all the low-hanging fruit of financial resources within our community. The website is currently always under construction because we're always adding new things or new financial empowerment things that are going on in the community. We're always adding that to that website. And we've also partnered with United Way, which has the VITA that does the tax. We don't have the facilities or anything. So as partnering with our stakeholders, it gives us strength to build this message out to our community. One more organization that we also sit on is Choose Tallahassee. So if someone wants to come into our community and we have all of these structure and resources set up for them, they're like, why not choose Tallahassee? So it's a lot of different moving pieces to this. And then people comprehend according to where they are in life. I think with us providing this financial empowerment, it allows anyone in any stage of life to just come into our community and be able to have access.
Well, that's important. I mean, like you said, if you're creating a situation to where you're plugged in with the various resources, so if someone shows up at the chamber's door looking for financial assistance, whether it be to start a business, whether it be to deal with homeownership issues or affordable housing issues, you're sitting in a position where you can direct them and you've got close relationships with other resource partners. So
Right.
I just think that that's just a wonderful model that you've incorporated there at the Capital City Chamber. So let's focus a little bit more on the real estate. My understanding is this program also is impactful in helping families clear up heirs property. Typically, someone dies, a lot of times they don't have a will, and there are a lot of survivors that may have a claim to that property. Why is that such a crucial factor in financial empowerment? And how is the chamber and this program addressing those concerns?
We had a couple of meetings, and I asked myself as a chamber president, how in the world do I get it? Because larger chambers, they don't have to deal with this. I do speak with other chambers out of different states and their smaller chambers. And the reason why we deal with all of the different aspects of the community and air property, most of the time minority businesses start out of a need. And sometimes they're able to get their dollars from collateral, the land that they had to invest to build that big, nice building. And it may be tied up with a family member, or it may be someone deceased, or it may be air property. So we've been able to do case by case. You don't have a recipe book that says this is the way to do it, this is what to do, because every scenario is different. We do the clerk of court. I have different attorneys that are attached to the chamber, even through business law, that they have agreed to do one consulting, and then it's up to the business if they want to move further with them. But the chamber pays for that one consulting to sit with anyone that needs to further them to the next step. We have an agreement with North Florida Legal that has the opportunities. And the thing about it, Keith, since you asked that, as a chamber, you try not to get all into the weeds of all of that. But when you're serving in the community, all of it connects.
You're right. So the other part is of the financial empowerment blueprint as social wellness and support services. Financial stability goes just beyond income and savings. It's about access to services like healthcare, transportation. Can you talk about how the chamber is working with partners to expand these essential services?
The services that are put in place are great right now. What I think we're working more with the city and the county on is to make sure that the messaging goes out in the different avenues that we have rolling out with the financial empowerment document that we're putting out in the community. Is that if the resources are there, how do we get people to utilize it and use it? How do you get people in need to just stop, get themselves together, and fill out this piece of paper? So a lot dealing with underserved communities or bringing equity in the community is that the administrative and the paperwork, a lot of people are scared to push that. And
Yeah.
so with different grants and funding we got, we've been able to be that technical assistance, or we have a stakeholder, a one person in that particular office that will deal with people case by case.
Awesome. Let's go back to financial education and business management. You talked a little bit about it, but a big part of financial empowerment is education. Can you tell us about the Bank on Tallahassee initiative and how it's helping residents access banking services?
The Bank on Tallahassee initiative, it deals strictly with making sure that when I met with these financial institutions, it allows them to meet bank on account standards, which allow them to have an account with someone that don't have that perfect credit or don't have that cookie cutter resume that a financial institution needs, like the 850 credit score, but what it would look like to have a product in a financial institution where everyone is welcome. So it looks at their account standards in order for you to meet the account standards without the overdrafting fees, allowing people just to get that negative tone from financial institutions. Another thing we looked at, if you were in business a while ago and you have bad business credit now, what it looked like to clean it up. If we even had a fund in our community for businesses to clean up the past fees in order to move forward and what that looks like. So we're having conversations about that. That didn't get very far because everything that you do, everything that you put into the community, it requires dollars. And where does those dollars come from? It's been interesting. I keep saying every week that, okay, this is all we're going to do on this project, but it keeps growing. So I guess that's a good problem to have.
Definitely. And then from the small businesses standpoint, access to capital can be a challenge, especially with minority women-owned businesses. You're very familiar, and I know you have promoted the Smart Steps program, the microloan program that is being offered currently by the FAMU Federal Credit Union. And I think that your team had a role in getting that whole initiative set up. Talk to us a little bit about the success of that program and what do you see in that program's future?
I do see it is a future in that program. What has shifted, and this is the way we're going now. The success in that program has been great. Before I came along and said and see, I know it was some different programs in the community prior, but things change. In order for the county to get that surplus money and the city to get that surplus money and say, when we came to them as stakeholders and concerns, they said, okay, let's come up with something where we can put some of the dollars back into community and help it start that ecosystem to access to capital. And that's what we see now. We already had it set in place with Appalachia Regional Planning Council. But with that being said, and they're doing a great job in what they're doing in their space, we came along and said, let us be an extension to what Appalachia Regional Planning Council is doing and just specialize on this population of people. And it's been really great.
You see all these programs coming together. I mean, it is, in my opinion, I've seen other communities and the level of collaboration and just the thoughtfulness of these programs and how they are designed and integrated into various grassroots organizations, chambers of commerce. You mentioned the Appalachia Regional Planning Council, talking about weaving in the fabric of the financial institutions. In your experience, have you seen other communities, or are there some communities that are focusing on these same initiatives with the same allocation of resources?
They do, but they don't do it at the same magnitude that we do. And you hear this all the time. Tallahassee is unique. We're proud in everything we do. And Keith, you know me personally. You know I'm going to go in there 100% in. When we up in New York, meeting with this team, another community, they were in, I want to say San Diego, California. Oh, we doing this, we doing that. But the unique thing about it is by Tallahassee having the city, the state, the county within blocks of each other, then our universities are top tier, top tier, the training capacity. And then now we have a state college that's top tier. So even you as an OEV director over our economic development for our community, you got to be proud going out and say, oh, this is the lay of the land. This is what we have in Tallahassee. Because I know you're proud because I see you win all these awards. We
No.
back sitting at the tables, right? Busting
Yeah.
our brains and butts. Keep saying, oh, this is what we're doing. But you're able to showcase that because at some degree it's working. Then last week, I had an interview with WCTV. I didn't even know Tallahassee ranked 14th in metro cities is Black businesses doing well.
Yeah.
And I say, where did you get that from? Because I'm tired. And all of us will keep going and feel like we're not doing enough. But when you see those types of reports and the awards come, you just say, maybe this is working, and you just keep going.
And I would agree. I think like when you really start to look at Tallahassee and where we are as a community and the different initiatives that we champion and the things that we set as priorities, I really think that is very unique and it's not found in every community. And the other fact is that in this community, we've got three chambers of commerce, and we've got NEBA and 100 businessmen. So there's just like a lot of different organizations. But I think what is very unique about our story is that we all come together. We all want to see the same thing. And there is no territorial turf wars or anything like that, because I think one of the things that we focus on, as you know, at OEV, is our mission and what that means and how that plays out into the lives of the individuals that call Tallahassee-Leon County home. So I just thank you for your partnership and our relationship at the Capital City Chamber. I want to talk to you a little bit about your Financial Empowerment Summit that last year you brought together over 100 public and private partners and nonprofit leaders. What were some of the key takeaways from that event?
So we did that. We did the Financial Empowerment Center. It was part of the funding that we received from the Cities of Financial Empowerment. The chamber always do an Advantage conference every year anyway. So
Right.
I said what it would look like if we couple that with the financial piece that we're also doing through that financial summit. We were able to compile all what we pulled back from that summit into that financial blueprint of Leon County. So that is the results from that. We have a wealth and equity. We talk about that and what that looked like. The history, give you the history. We give you the background. We give you the economic disparity, how we came up with those analysis from that. Also the strategic tools, how to address it. That's huge. Don't just talk about the problem, but how do we move forward and address the problems that we have in our community? And one thing, Keith, I just want to say, I don't put my personal feelings into it. I look at the problem and respect people in their places and just look at the issue and target the problem and just keep going. And that has been a strength as you working with different stakeholders and groups. You have to stay focused on the issue and not our personal issues.
Absolutely. So looking forward, what's next for the chamber in terms of financial empowerment? I mean, this is something that you and your team, to include your board of directors, financial empowerment is something that you have a laser focus on. What do you see in the future for this initiative, and where do you think you're going to realize the biggest impact?
Even though we're doing working with all the other chambers, the networking is good, the handshaking is good, but we also realize policy and putting things in place and structure. Maybe I don't see the results from this financial empowerment booklet right now, but years to come we will. And so it's more about putting the structure and the right resources and tools in line for progress. Anytime that you work in a community trying to bring change to blighted areas, to impoverished areas, it takes years. It's not anything that's done overnight because it's learned behavior or it's government structures that got us there. So I think as far as we continue to look and change policies and put things in place where our new government, the city and the county can reference and keep everybody on track. Let's use a guide to make sure that we checking the block on things. And that's the way I kind of see things moving forward. We're celebrating because the day that we were in the commission chambers that Tuesday and the commission blessed the financial empowerment booklet was the same day we got an email that we received a grant for to continue our work and start a planning phase on what it looks like to have a financial empowerment center within our city and our county. And so if right now,
Congratulations.
thank you. And if Daryl Jones was here, which is over the MWSB, he said you may applaud. Um, that is the same. They was sitting right there, and I was actually sitting right kind of behind Mr. Shinkton Lammy, and I reached up and showed him the email, and he was like, "Oh my God, good job!" So the thing about what we've done here as a community, Everything that the cities of financial empowerment offered us as a community, we utilized it. We were able to bring dollars into our community, utilize those dollars, and put tools and strategies together for our community.
That is amazing. Once again, I just think that there's so much work being done in and around financial stability and financial empowerment. And as you stated, Katrina, so precisely, is that these seeds that you're planting today, you might not see the results, but years down the road, you will start to see the benefit of things that you and the leadership at the chamber and other chambers that are working in our community, you'll start to
Absolutely.
see those results. So that's important. So how can residents and business owners get involved and take advantage of these resources? Now that you set the table, how do we start to take advantage of all this stuff that you're doing?
It was blessed by the Leon County Commission. Nobody opposed anything. It's all good stuff. Now we're preparing for the community and what that looks like. So we have infographics that will be going out, a social media campaign that will be going out. Do I know exactly what dates, but we plan on rolling it out right after everybody agree on what it should look like. So they can actually right now have access. The county has a page, and if you go to the Leon County government page and just type in financial empowerment blueprint, everything comes up. So we already have a couple of stakeholders on this website where you can click on, go to the resources that they have available, including with the housing, including with the food, including anything like that, including also the, get this, Keith. You know, I like to do stuff out the box. It just keeps me going, keeps my adrenaline going. We are one of the only cities with the cities of financial empowerment added a business component.
Wow.
Um, yeah, when I was up there in New York, that just gasoline on my little fire. So I'm trying to figure out why no other chambers were involved, because if you see where businesses were just closing the doors, it's budgeting, it's capital, it's money. And so we are one of the ones that are adding that business, and we have a business toolkit that's located also in this financial empowerment blueprint. Just this week, we have Abby that will be traveling to New York to share what Tallahassee's doing in this financial blueprint and how our city and county came together and got this blueprint done. So she will be presenting before New York, even just this very week.
That is amazing. So once again, Tallahassee-Leon County is setting the example for the nation to follow in this important work and working with some of the most, I would say, historically underserved communities and just making sure that they have the resources, making sure that they get an opportunity to participate in the American dream, whether it be home ownership, business ownership, any type of entrepreneurial endeavors, and then just enhancing the quality of life. So again, I am completely blown away by all the things that the Capital City Chamber is accomplishing under your leadership. So before we wrap up, is there one key message or takeaways that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
After every call I do, they say, "What's one key thing?" At every talk, I had the opportunity also to speak with a group. Well, it was 340 women last week. And I always, like I told them, I said, and I may read exactly what I told them, because I had a young lady to call me the next day and say, "Hey, what did you say?" And what I pointed out to him was next. Every morning I get up and reflect on, okay, I tell the good Lord, I say, "Oh God, what's next?" And so I take that next as new opportunities, exciting, and the X mean multiply with every I touch, and then the timing the
Wow.
timing. The timing has to be on point. And then if it's not the time for you to do it, it's not that you're not saying it's not going to get done right now, but it's coming. It's coming next. So I always line myself up with a next, but not I cannot do it attitude, but also what's next, and the timing is just not the time.
I love that. I'm going to steal that if you don't mind.
You're not the 10th person that have said that,
I'll give you
but
credit.
once
I'll, I'll,
but
I'll
but
tell them I
you
got it from
really,
you,
once
but
you understand that,
yes,
everything else flows. Because every day you come out, you're walking, you're representing yourself, your entity, And you just got to know that it's flowing in the right timing.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Katrina, I can't thank you enough for sharing these insights today. The work is being done through the Financial Empowerment Blueprint, the Bank on Tallahassee, all the things that you have your fingerprints on, is truly making a difference in breaking down financial barriers and creating economic opportunity in our community. So, to our listeners, if you'd like to learn more about the Financial Empowerment Blueprint or Bank on Tallahassee or the Small Business Resources, please visit the Capital City Chamber's website. Katrina, you mind giving us the URL for that
Oh,
website?
so it's, of course, it's www if you need that, but it's CCC's 3C's .tally.com.
All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much, Katrina. And until next time, keep striving for financial security and success to all our listeners. And stay tuned for more to come with Economic Vitality Unplugged.